Well, that was definitely a day of League of Legends, so let me get my food from stage door and let's talk about it. Let's start with Cloud9 and let's get this T1 game out of the way, because I've been reading the interactions on social media this morning, just trying to get a gauge of like where people are at, because if you watch the broadcast and watch the game, most people are going to be very upset with the Jax pick. If you're going to have Rumble J4, you need to have a counter ready, and C9 just went Belveth Jax and figured they'd scale into late game, but that was never really gonna be possible against T1. Like, I get the theory, because when you looked at Team Liquid's game, you saw them get beat by T1 just from poor decision making, but clearly like they were able to scale at a decent pace to be able to keep up with them in the late game. So you assume that you might be able to do the same. But when you're that readable, whenever like literally it didn't feel like C9 did anything to win the game. Like, that's the difference between C9 and TL. TL was taking like very active measures early on to make sure that they could get leads and try and snowball it into a win. C9 just had very visible pathing. J4 gets a very clear read of what's going on, goes up towards top lane, invades jungle, gets flash out of Blabber, and then kills Fudge, and then it's just over. Like, your scaling to late game becomes irrelevant, and then, well, I say that, but they had a chance, and then threw it away at that fight where the Bard ult saved 2 people. But either way, like, it was, I think, 3v4. Just another example, like, if you looked at the pings, and I think Cadro called it out, that Zeus was pinging for Owner, like, hey, they're about to dive me top, come here. So the entire team was prepped for it, they were ready for it, and countered it. So it's like, I get people want to blame draft, sure, but like, a good team will still win with a bad draft and just play better. Sure, you put yourself at a disadvantage, but like, C9 just didn't do anything to win the game. It's as simple as that. I talked about this before Worlds, and I don't want to keep piling on to this, and I don't want this to be interpreted in a negative way. Blabber clearly is still having issues whenever it comes to international play, just not able to do anything proactive enough to be able to compete at that level. Fudge past 2021 just seems, I don't know, he hasn't stepped up to the same caliber of what we saw initially during his 2021 MSI breakout. Oh, never mind, my subway's here already, so I guess we're gonna finish the rest of this in Queens. Bit of advice from somebody who's lived in New York but still learns this lesson even 6 years in. You never know what's going to happen with the subway systems on any given weekend. So like today, the 7 train is apparently not running in Manhattan because they're painting the damn walls. So I got off one exit early to take a different train over into Queens. But yeah, always pay attention to the service changes. Your phone will automatically update you of all of them, so just use Apple Maps or whatever and it'll tell you. But anyways, now the main issue that I actually take with Cloud9 is not Blabber nor Fudge. I think they're incredible players that, quite frankly, are some of the best that we will ever have in North America. I blame it on coaching. I was consistent with that point with 100 Thieves, and I will maintain that stance with Cloud9. Mithy is the head coach here, and we've seen it multiple times now with C9, where it's like, we don't see the development of players all that much, or at least not to, like, not beyond their peaks that we've already seen so far. So I don't know. And then you look at drafts specifically, like the Poppy versus the LNG, or in the LNG game, and then the Jarvan Rumble here, like, that's on coaching and drafting, unless players truly override it. And in that case, like, where's your coaching infrastructure? But that's what they have with LS, and they got rid of it. But I don't want to stay focused on that. There's still obviously one possible series, maybe 2 for Cloud9 left, that I just want them to focus on being proactive. Like, don't just roll over and die like you did in this series. You cannot just draft scaling against these Eastern teams and not expect them to know exactly what you're doing and exactly how to counter you. If you're gonna do that, you need to be proactive, and we just have not seen that yet, and they need to. There's a 50-50 chance from now on that they're either gonna get Europe or in an Asian team, and the numbers are dwindling as time goes on. Assuming that D plus Kia beats BDS and obviously Team Liquid beats GAM, like, sure, you might draw TL, but like, the goal of this tournament is not to just beat up on North America to get out. Like, we shouldn't be cannibalizing each other. We actually want to play Eastern teams, and you're not going to stand a chance if you don't change up something in what you're doing, because so far C9's only win is against Mad Lions, which brings us to the other game, NRG versus Mad Lions. Oh man, Jesus. Entertaining game, like incredibly entertaining, and I don't want to take anything away from that. Like that game was fun to watch and nerve-wracking the entire time. And the thing is, I feel like NRG is just like whenever they're on and winning, they're playing to the level of their opponent, which is like, in this case, it was down in the gutter. Like we all just brought each other down, and that is what it is. But when it comes to better teams, like hopefully they can lift themselves up. I mean, unfortunately for North America as a whole, our only 2 wins in this entire Swiss stage are both over Mad Lions. And I'm not counting, obviously, NRG's win over TL. It's a domestic matchup. It is what it is. But now we're going to see with the draw tomorrow who we get. And there's a very real chance that our tournament for Cloud9 and TL could possibly be over the second we face an Eastern team in a best of 3. It's a very realistic chance, and in that case, then yeah, we didn't deserve to get out, and it is what it is. There's also a chance that we get like Fnatic and NRG could get G2 for all we know. So there should be one positive thing that you take away though, and that is Palafox, regardless of whether he's inting or not, is absolutely cracked in terms of his like ability to just go in and fight 24/7. It is incredibly entertaining. It was fun to watch. Like I loved every single minute of that game, despite how much people are going to meme it. But there's my train. This is going to be a short one. There's really not much to say. We'll talk more tomorrow at the draw show and preview what's to come. But yeah, I'm scared. Like I'm legitimately scared of what's to come now, given the form that we showed from all of our teams and the fact that we have yet to beat anybody but Mad Lions. So we'll see. Catch you on the next one.